We all are Onami. There is nobody here who does not wrestle with challenges daily. There is nobody here who does not get thrown about daily, does not get defeated daily. And there is nobody here who does not have the greatest of potentials to be the master wrestler. We all are Onami. What is happening with Onami? He is skilled. Theoretically, intellectually, he knows the art of fighting. It is said that in private he performs very well. But the moment it comes to a public arena, something happens to him and he just loses it. What do we mean when we say we are Onami, and what is this fight? We are the state of our mind. Onami represents our mind. The mind that seems to believe that challenges, obstacles, problems come as discrete objects. That is our daily experience and common assertion. In the course of the entire day, if you are asked to list your challenges and moments of problems, you will probably list 3, 4, 5, 6. And you would say that the rest of day was all right. You would say it is these specific and isolated challenges that are my problem. Otherwise, all is okay. Onami too seems to believe the same. He says, fundamentally all is okay. You see, I have practiced well. You see, I have mastered my art. You see, in private, how well I am doing. It is just those special occasions when I am being watched by the public that I go nervous, that all my skill disappears, that all my power seems to desert me. Otherwise, I am all right. That is the same as our assertion when we say, in general, my life is all right except for these 4-5 problems. Hence, all our attention is consumed by those problems, and we give a green certificate to our general life, to the remainder of our life. We say that I started walking from point A to B, and only twice in the way did I stumble. Only once did I fall down. So what is my problem? My problem is those two particular incidences when my foot hurt something, when I hit, when I lost balance, when I stumbled. Otherwise, between A and B, everything is alright. That is not so. The actor's shortcomings, failures are revealed only now and then, discreetly, randomly, in between, only sometimes. But the mistake is continuous. The results of the mistake seem to appear only intermittently, so we are led into believing as if the mistake too is intermittent. No, the mistake is continuous. What is Onami's mistake? Onami's mistake is that it doesn't matter who is he fighting. He is always present in all his fights. And who is Onami? Onami is a present, is an output, a result of all the situations that brought him up. When Onami is in the arena, he thinks that he is fighting his opponent. Wrong. When Onami is in the arena, he is fighting both his opponent and himself. When a challenge is in front of us, we feel as if the challenge is external, the problem is objective and outside of us, and we are tackling the problem. The fact of the matter is, whenever we are faced with a challenge, we are tackling both the challenge and ourselves. And this ourselves that we are additionally facing is nothing but we, as we have been taught to think of ourselves. The Onami that Onami is grappling with is really not real. He is a product of the social upbringing. The proof of that is that when Onami fights in private, he finds it easier to win because at that time nobody else is looking, so the onami that he is fighting gets weakened. Our image, our false self, that is always ranged against us, is not us. However strongly we may be identified with it. I repeat, it is that which we have been trained to think of ourselves as. So the moment onami fights in public, this publicly held image gains power, gains life, gains strength, and defeats onami. We identify very strongly with it. We start saying, I am that which I have been taught myself as. I am that which people think of me. The stronger is the sense of I. The stronger is the sense of I think, I feel, I act, I fight, my challenge. The stronger is the opponent in front of you, because this I itself is the opponent. And let it be reminded that this opponent feeds upon the public I. The more public it is, the more strong and important it becomes. When onami is fighting in front of the public, it is a smaller challenge to match his physical opponent, the other wrestler. He is fighting the assault of the combined eyesight of the hundreds of people who are watching him, who are judging him, who have brought him up. He has to live up to the billing of onami the wrestler. Even the name onami has been given to him by all those who are watching him. It's a massive ocean of influences that onami is up against. You may as well imagine him wrestling parallelly with 200 people, out of which 199 are invisible. There is only one visible opponent. So it looks like a one-to-one fight, a one-on-one wrestling, a fair contest. But it is not one-on-one. The same is happening with us continuously. We say, I am facing challenges. In this statement, it appears as if the challenge is on that side of the fence and the I is on this side of the fence, this side of the divide. And the I is positioned against the challenge. That's what this statement makes us believe, right? I am facing challenges. So I and challenges are opposed to each other. The fact is totally different. The I is the challenge. The I is not facing challenges. The I is the challenge. As long as you are facing challenges, you yourself are the biggest challenge to be faced. Whenever you say, I am going out to meet life's problems, it is certain that you would be defeated. Because you are carrying your defeat along with you. To carry this artificial sense of I is to be defeated even before the battle begins. Because the battle is all about remaining free. The opposition wants to conquer you, enslave you. The battle is about remaining free. And if you take with yourself your sense of I to the battle, you have been enslaved even before the war for freedom begins. Now, which war are you going to fight? Continuously believing that you are what you have been told to be, now you go to fight those who have told you what you are. How will you ever be victorious? Onami goes to his teacher. The teacher says, just watch the billows, just look at the waves. Do nothing, just look at the waves. And Onami must be a very special disciple. He does not question. He could have easily said, sir, your advice appears so trivial, so irrelevant. Here am I, a wrestler, who is facing issues with his public performances, and all that you have to offer me is this optical entertainment? Watch the waves? But Onami listens. He says that if the teacher has suggested, there must be something to it. He sits and he watches the waves. He sees how the waves are rising, sweeping ahead, vanquishing everything that comes in their way. And the waves don't have an agenda, the waves don't have a name, the waves don't have an identity. The waves are not even concerned about self-protection. The waves have not made up their mind to march ahead. The waves do not feel elated when they are able to sweep over an obstacle, and the waves are not disappointed when after a few seconds they again merge back into the ocean. Great things are happening through the waves, yet the waves carry no sense of I. Such greatness is being exhibited by the waves. It is as if the entire might of the ocean has come to express itself through the waves. It is as if the ocean knows no way to talk except through the waves. And the waves have no quarrel with the ocean. The waves are not disjoint. They do not look upon themselves as isolated, abandoned entities out in this huge world to fight their own individual battles. No wave would ever say that I have come to this world with such great purpose. The wave, in fact, hardly ever feels that it is born, because to feel that you are born is to feel separated from the source, from the ocean. Even when the wave takes a particular shape, form, it still remains as the ocean. You call the wave a wave, you are right. And you are equally right if you look at the wave and say, oh, it is the ocean. Because the wave has really never in its mind separated itself from the ocean. But Onami has separated, we all have separated. We all carry a fragmented sense of I. We all feel that we have to fend for ourselves, that we are abandoned children of existence who have been left to look after themselves, fight their own big battles. Onami learns a lesson. He sees that beautiful, harmonious and great action is possible even without an acting agency. He sees that it is possible to witness great deeds even when there is no doer behind the deed. Onami must have been special because the ocean is available to all of us and we all daily face the predicament of Onami, yet we hardly ever learn this simple lesson. Here is the river flowing right beside us, and we will not see that the river just flows. The river just flows. flows without planning, flows without a past, flows without a future, just flows. The river does not question, where am I going to? From where do I come? In its flow, the river is united at the two ends with the glacier and the ocean. Emerging from the glacier and going towards the ocean, the river hardly ever feels that it is undertaking a journey, and therefore it covers a great distance without any effort. Never does it feel separated from the glacier, never does it feel the eagerness to reach its destination, the ocean. It just flows. But we are doers. We want to say, I am flowing. We want to take the credit of the flow. We want to take the challenge of flowing, the onus on flowing upon ourselves. We say, unless I do it, how will it happen? The entire art of Zen is about effortless action, about great action arising from an inner inaction. I assure you, as we conduct our first session of this camp, the more you want to do it, the more you will defeat yourself. It doesn't matter what you want to do. You may want to be your well-wisher, or you may want to actively harm yourself. You may carry any kind of personal agenda, but as long as you are carrying it, as long as you feel responsible for your own welfare, you will keep getting defeated. In fact, there is no defeat except to take the responsibility of living upon oneself. There is no defeat for the wave except the intention to be separated from the ocean. Waves are not so foolish. Unfortunately, man often is. The river is flowing, and here this session is flowing. And just like the effortless flow of the river, here we have an effortless flow of words and an effortless flow of understanding. Those who are just listening would be in the flow. Those who have taken upon themselves to try and understand would be missing much of the happening. And there are only these two kinds of minds. There is no third category possible. There are those who say, I can relax. I can let the ocean take care of me. I need not burden myself with the essential. The real is not a responsibility, not a target, not something that I have been commissioned to achieve. The most important, the ultimate, the most precious is a gift. Is a gift that I have already been blessed with. Now I cannot insult the gift by pretending that it is my personal achievement. I would be lying in two ways. One, it is not mine. Second, it is not a matter of achievement. Had it been a matter of achievement, there would have been a moment, a time, a position when the gift would not have been there with you. Or at least there would have been a possibility that you might lose it. You never lose it. Without losing it, you go haywire as if you have lost it. Look at the heaviness on the faces. Look at the frown on the foreheads. Look at the swelling in the eyes. All of us are pretending as if we are confronted with great problems that we are not equipped to deal with. All of us are pretending that life is difficult. All of us are pretending that there are important and unanswered questions. It is not that way for the wave, it is not that way for the river. There are no unanswered questions there. There is no space or time to pause and get embroiled in questions. There is just the flow, just the flow. And the flow does not really belong to the river. But for us, there is my own particular personal life, and if it is my own particular personal life, then it is my own particular personal challenge. As long as it is your own particular and specifically personal challenge, the defeat would be particularly yours. The stress would be particularly yours. The effort would be particularly yours. And the way you have defined yourself to be, your effort would always prove insufficient. The existence is not conspiring against you. By your own definition, you have carved yourself out into a very petty entity. You say, you know what? I am the one who is separate from the ocean. Now look at the ocean. The ocean is all that there is. It's an infinity, an immensity. If something or somebody says, I am separate from the ocean, he has condemned himself into being defined as almost nothing or totally nothing, because the ocean is everything, and if you're not the ocean, what are you left with? If the wave says, I am not the ocean, what is the wave left with? That is our dilemma. We want to be ourselves, sans the total. The moment you try to remove the total from your definition of yourselves, what have you left yourselves with? It's like you have been given a total treasure, and you totally remove the total treasure and you say, now I have that which remains. Having removed the total, what would you be left with? Nothing. And with this nothing, you want to fight life's challenges. Is it any surprise that our faces tell the story of our lives? Not only lives gone by, but also the life that is yet to come upon us. We are defeated in advance because we are fighting against that which we really are, assuming ourselves to be that which we are not at all. The practice of archery has been traditionally quite associated with Zen. The master teaches the disciple to shoot. And it is said that Zen is there only when there is the bow, the arrow, the stretching, and the flight. If the shooter is there, if the archer is there, then the shooting cannot happen. If there's somebody who is determining the target will be missed. As long as you are there to deal with life, life would always remain an insurmountable challenge. Both a challenge, first of all, not a friend, not a companion, but a challenge. And secondly, an insurmountable challenge. A challenge that you will not be able to ever conclusively win. You may get small consolations for a while, which may keep egging you to go a little further. You may keep on getting small doses of motivations every now and then, only to meet with even bigger defeats, only to be deflated and demotivated even more deeply. The river would be terribly tired if it had taken upon itself to cover all the journey till the ocean. It would be a river demanding stops, breaks, massage and rejuvenation. And it also requires a lot of motivational teachers to keep it going. The river requires none of them. Neither does it require any motivation nor rejuvenation. The river is effortless and hence fatigueless. Do not forget that your problems are defined by who you are. When you come up with your problem statement, you must know that you have come up with your identity statement. When you narrate your problem, if there is someone who is listening carefully, he will know who you are. Your problem describes you, even as you are describing your problem. If you are petty, your problem description would be so petty. So when you come and tell me about your petty problems, I come to know a little about your problem and everything about you. Such a petty problem. Such a petty problem. Oh, he has to be a petty mind. You come and say, that you are being betrayed by the ones you trust. I do not come to learn much about the ones you are describing, but I come to see that you are the one who is insecure and dependent. Dependent exactly upon the ones he is complaining against. Had you not been dependent on him, why would you come and complain that he is not dependable? Now look at the words. You come and say, you know what, the man in my life is not dependable. It appears as if the problem is outside of you. I do not hear it that way. What I hear is, I want to be dependent. I want to be dependent and he is not dependable. You do not verbalize that part of your problem statement that deals with the I. You do not verbalize it because then all the nonsense of the I would be exposed. So you keep it hidden. You pretend as if the problem lies outside of you. Onami too used to pretend. He used to pretend that he goes nervous during his bouts. The fact is, Onami would have remained Onami even when he was talking, eating, sleeping, walking. All the time he would have been burdening himself with doership. It was not getting exposed always, and it was getting brutally revealed in public when he was in his fights. What we call as our problems are nothing but the moments when existence fortunately shows us a mirror. That does not mean that our face has become especially ugly only in those moments. If you have tinted your face black, blue and yellow, is it black, blue and yellow only when you look at it in the mirror? So would you come and complain that at 12:30 p.m. you know what, my face appeared black, blue and yellow because that was the moment when life held up a mirror to me? Would you complain about the happening at 12:30 p.m.? But you would complain about the happening because you do not want to talk about the face. The face is consistently ugly, and that is so very ugly because it is immensely beautiful. That's what makes ugliness unbearably ugly. Had you really been ugly, had ugliness been your nature, why would we call ugly as ugly? But ugly is unbearably ugly because you are so beautiful. Because Onami is so strong that it is a pity that he must keep losing fight after fight. Because you are so beautiful, it is a great pity that you keep living an ugly life. The beauty of the wave lies in its relationship with the ocean. The moment the wave is on its own, the wave is not the ocean and not even the wave is just ugliness. Just ugliness. I repeat this, if you are fighting as the I, then you are not fighting as the I, you are fighting against the I. And hence you will always be defeated, because you would be saying, I am the I that is fighting against the I and the challenge. The I can never win because the very emergence of I is already a defeat. But you want to claim, right? I can win, I will win. And all of these are such stupid self-assurances. It seems that this feeling is so deeply entrenched in the mind. I'm an alien. I have been abandoned. I need to fight. If I do not take care of myself, I won't survive. Life is hostile. Existence is an enemy. To live is to be surrounded by challenges. Do these statements sound familiar? Don't you hear them over and over again even when nobody else is now uttering them, because they have been uttered so frequently in your ears that now you do not need any external party to utter them. You have absorbed and totally internalized all these things. Now they keep echoing within you as your own voice. The I cannot face this world because the I has been in the first place shaped by this world. I will never be able to conquer this world. Don't you see that? The I and the world are one. How can you use this I to conquer the world? Your very sense of yourself has been put together by all that the world has given you. In that sense, you could even say that the I is a slave of the world. The I exists only as long as it is the slave of the world. But you want to use this I to fight the world. The wrestler's self-esteem has been given to him not by an internal source, but by all the people who have so far applauded him. He has no internal valuation of himself. He has no innate self-worth. Whatever he is has been stuffed into him by all the judging eyes around him. No wonder that when he moves into the arena, he gets nervous. He has nothing of his own. When you have nothing of your own, you are always very nervous. What you have can be taken away. These are the people who cast me as a wrestler. These are the people who accept me as a wrestler. And these are then also the people who can abandon me, denounce me, leave me with nothing. Obviously, they can leave you with nothing because what you have has been given to you by them. It is not your own. That which is really your own is the flow. The flow requires not your participation but your surrender. The flow does not require your activity, your analysis. It requires nothing from you. Hell, it does not even require you. The flow is smooth and beautiful and wonderful even without you, rather only without you. Great is the wrestler who lets the wrestling happen. And defeated is the wrestler who wrestles. When you wrestle, then wrestling is an activity and the opponent is a problem. When wrestling happens, then you, the opponent, the public and the wrestling, they are all together in the flow. Then it doesn't matter what the result of the fight is. It is now not a fight at all. Winning you win, and even defeated, now you are a winner. And when you are fighting as Onami, when you are fighting as yourself, then you are defeated in your defeat and more severely defeated in your occasional victory. Your occasional victories are your tonic. They are the ones that keep giving you hope. They are the ones that you keep touting and relying upon. They are the ones you use as role models. You say, you know what, acting as I, once upon a time I did win. And if I could win then it's an indicator that my methods, my identities, my ways are not totally false. Maybe I can win once again and again, always. You keep carrying this hope. So victory becomes worse than defeat because it prepares the ground for 1,000 defeats and suffering 1,000 times over. when just the wrestling is happening, then the opponent is not even an opponent. Then the fight is not even a fight. As the river flows, it hits against the rocks, the boulders. It does not take them as enemies. It does not say it's a fight going on. Rather, it's an integrated process. When you look at the river, do you say only the water is the river? Are the rocks in the flow not the river? Please tell me. Now the definition of I is widened. Now even that which is against the I becomes a part of the I. Now the I is the total. Now the river is the glacier, the ocean, the clouds, the rain, the kids splashing in the water, the fish, the entire existence. Now you cannot differentiate the river from the crops. Now you cannot differentiate the water from the soil. It's all one. And now it doesn't matter whether there is victory or defeat, because the whole happening is impervious to these parameters. You say, was there victory or defeat? Existence roars back, irrelevant question. Unimportant question. Foolish question. In truth, there is no defeat, because even the defeat is victory. In the separated, in the false, there is no victory, because even the victory is defeat. Remaining separated, you pursue victory. What are you pursuing? Many of us do not need scriptures. We actually need only small handheld mirrors. Our eyes tell the story of our alienation. We are like the kid resting in the lap of the mother and dreaming that he has been deserted in some faraway land. And the kid is suffering, anxious, troubled. Secure in the lap of the mother, actually, he unfortunately still keeps feeling like an orphan. That's our predicament, and it shows up upon our faces. You look at this world, and if you have to give a cumulative name, you can either call it a madhouse or an orphanage. We are orphans in the house of the Father. We are orphans even as the Father sits in our heart. We are orphans even as we ourselves are the Father. Because we must believe that we are ourselves. I am I. The I is always an orphan. Many of us are still carrying the responsibility of understanding what I am saying. They are trembling under that heavy responsibility, trying to make sense of these words. You will never be able to make sense of these words as long as you are trying. All that you will get is the effort and the trying. But it is imperative for you that the understanding comes to you through your effort, so that you may claim that you achieved it. You will not achieve anything here, however, a lot will be gifted. Want to take the gift? Then behave like the little girl that you really are. Don't act so grown up. You know how little ones are. They just hold out their palms facing the sky and pearls rain upon their palms. Pearls are ready to rain. You close your eyes and stretch out your hands. Otherwise, you can keep digging. We have all the stuff here. I talked about mirrors, we also have shovels here. Several of us are very interested in laboring their way to realization. So we have all the material here befitting laborers. Keep laboring. Keep laboring. At least you'll lose some fat. That's one good thing about doership. Keep laboring, or just say, and you get it. Now you are laboring to know how it happens. Okay, the speaker is claiming it happens, so probably it does. At least once in a while it does, maybe. He doesn't appear like an absolute liar. So at least sometimes it's happening. But then how is it happening? Are these certified pearls? Where do they rain from? Figure out if you can. Go figure out. Now some of us are trying to figure out how to figure out. Now, how does that happen? Is there some figuring out manual available somewhere? Do we have enough connectivity here to Google? What's your particular understanding? What's your personal opinion? What did you derive from this talk? What could you conclude? Does this make sense to you? Please tell me what you understood.
Nothing. Ask him. Receive.
How smart are you? You surely would comprehend, right? It's a disgrace to sit through 1 hour of this and yet return empty-handed. Emptier than when you began. So what are you taking away from here? I learned that, I concluded that, I understood, I realized, I am taking away, I comprehended, I interpreted, I concluded, I know, I have seen. I understood. Understood? Go and ask the river what is the difference between understanding and I understood. Go and ask. What is the difference between understanding and I understood? Go and ask the river. I asked the river, it didn't reply. Too bad. The river has no respect for you and your I. Too bad. Now the river is another challenge. This little stream fit not to be called a quarter of a river, is daring to not to reply to me? To me? I asked, and I received no reply. So is it clear to you? Go and ask the sky, what is the difference between it being clear to me and clarity? As long as it is clear to you, there can be no clarity because you are the haziness. It's like saying, you know what? It is very, very clear in the fog. You do not want to clear the fog, you want to say it is very, very clear in the fog. You are the fog. How can there be any clarity possible to you? So this really touched me. Tonight when I retire, I introspect how this relates to my life. And what will you come up with? Your old fruit juice? What else? Some grapes, some apples loaded with pesticides, some guava, some lychee. That old concoction that you called as your introspection. Socially, we all are very hygiene loving. We say, keep away from shit. But mentally, we keep on recycling that which is excreted by us. Sometimes in the name of introspection, sometimes in the name of analysis, sometimes in the name of understanding. We keep on taking in our own shit. I'm introspecting. When your little baby does that, you say, chichi. Don't touch it. It's your own excreta. Then why do you analyze thought? That too is your own excreta. But you work upon it. And that's why it stinks so much. I'm working upon myself. The myself itself is shit. What do you mean by working upon it? Just stay away from it. That's all that you need. Flush it away. But you want to work upon it and improve it. What will you do by improving it? You may have eaten a fabulous dinner. Pearls and diamonds were served to you. But having passed through you, it will emerge only as shit. You may read the best of scriptures, pearls and diamonds, but if you pass it through yourself and then want to look at it, all you will look at it is chichi. That is the definition of I. You pass mangoes through it, it turns into you pass a guava, it turns into you pass koans through it, it turns into, and then you say my understanding. That that's what is happening. You have taken it in, processed it, it emerges as, and you call that your own personal understanding. I am chewing it. Let me think over. I need more time to analyze. Of course. I'll know you have analyzed when you belch or fart. Self-belief, self-worth is the worst insult you can heap upon yourself. You are beyond measure, you are beyond valuation, you are beyond any measure of worth. That is why when you say that you have a high self-esteem or high self-worth, you need to see how you are humiliating yourself. If it offends you when you hear that whatever touches you or passes through you turns into shit, why doesn't it offend you that you carry a particular self-esteem, a particular measure of self-worth? That is the biggest humiliation, and you keep tolerating it daily. In fact, you not only tolerate it, you actively inflict it upon yourself, actively, deliberately. If you have self-worth, you are bound to be small and limited, because all concepts are always limited. There is no concept called limitlessness. And if you are small and limited and petty, then even the immense will be turned by you into something petty. You will conclude, you will say, you know what, 1.5 hours of this talk, and I concluded. Burp. Sir, I have digested all that you said. Now it's time to visit the loo then. You have digested everything. What response do I give? Do I say yes or no? No is bad, but it seems I is worse. Caught between bad and worse is the worst thing that can happen. No is bad, yes is worse. Both are what they are because it is your no and your yes. Zen is the art of just being, not doing anything, not even carrying the obligation to understand. So just sit. You are not even obliged to understand. You are not school kids sitting in front of a teacher who conducts daily tests after the lecture. And you then ask, how much did you retain? What have you understood? Tell me your learnings. Zen means just be. Being is sufficient. Even understanding, when done by you, is just a doing. So don't even do understanding. Just be here. That just being is clarity. That just being is understanding. That just being is sufficient. That just being is all that is possible and hence more than sufficient. And guess what? You are not obliged even to be, because being is not an obligation. So you are not obliged to do anything. Such limitless freedom, such free freedom, such reckless freedom, we go bonkers. We have always been told that we must pay a price for freedom. Zen is pure freedom. Freedom that you pay nothing for. Freedom is freedom for free. Free freedom. That cannot be. Free freedom. Freedom is good. But after I have earned it. Who has earned it? Who has earned it? Freedom is good. But freedom must be earned. Free freedom is, no, not possible. I don't think anybody loves me so much that he would give me freedom for free. Zen loves you too much to say that you are lovable. Zen is too respectful to comment that there does indeed exist somebody who loves you unconditionally. Zen never talks about these things. Zen is silent. Zen doesn't talk. But it's a matter of listening. You have free freedom because you are lovable and beautiful. So you have been gifted, you have been blessed. Too much to accept. I have to work hard even to earn a toothbrush. How can freedom be free? Because freedom is not a toothbrush. Now, this is no attempt to prevent you from brushing your teeth. Kindly do that. Or rather, keep doing that if you already do. Faces are always beautiful, always clear, always innocent. But your faces look confused. Eyes are always as clear and clean as the deepest of still lakes. Still, clear, charming. But our eyes are burdened with the load of self-worth, with the load of I, and all of that is sitting on our eyelids. When listening does not happen, you say, I listen. When listening is about to happen, I feels like running away. I tries to distract itself, look here and there, utter something, mutter something. That's the hallmark of listening. When listening happens, you disappear. You would not be there to claim, I listen. Listening has happened. Because the I is now feeling strangulated. It wants to run away. Was it already gone? If it wants to run away, if it wants to run away, if it wants to run away, let it run away. Unfortunately, when the I wants to run away, we too get up and walk away with the I. I-less presence. Let the I run away, and then what remains is called pure presence. Just being, not being as somebody. Just being. Are you clear? It's like somebody threw a stone in a still pond. It doesn't matter whether the voice that emerges, whether the sound of the splash says yes or no. The silence is gone. The I believes that it can give smart answers. The I believes a no is better than yes. A no is not better than a yes. Both are a blemish on the silence. Is this clear at least? Enforced wordlessness is such a deception. It's better we use words. Now, would you be naive enough to use words? Splash. Some of us want to use words, some of us want to remain silent, and none of that is silence. Is silence about keeping mum? Why do you talk so much? Why can't you keep silent like me? Have I said anything over the last 1.5 hours? Utterly talkative people you are. Is it possible to keep silent? Somebody is getting angry. Say something. Keep quiet. Keep quiet and say something. I think I nailed it. If you did, why must you unnecessarily enforce humility upon yourself? The only silent thing about here is the noise of the river. Some people call it music. Except the river, nobody seems silent. The noisy river is so silent. Heavy eyes, heavy eyes, heavy eyes, burdened not with fatigue and sleep, but with that which they would rather not see. Heavy eyes. Dinner time? Time to turn a little more of existence into try eating without eating. Try eating without trying. Try eating without eating. Try eating without trying. Let's see what happens. Let's see without seeing.